Hi, everyone. I see everybody is signing in, so we'll wait till everybody pops in. And in the interim, good afternoon. I'm Cindy Hausner. I'm the director of Great Lakes Adaptive Sports Association, and I'm also the games director. And this year it's virtual games, unfortunately. So for those of you who've been on, it kind of sounds like a broken record, but traditionally, our weather for these games has not been good. We've had rain, snow, high winds, and of course, I'm sitting here looking at a beautiful day, sun shining and in the 70s. So I'm hoping that next year we'll all be live. So I'd like to thank our sponsors that are on the screen right now. And welcome to the Virtual College Resource Fair. Thank you to everybody attending today. We have 10 colleges which, we have 10 colleges which offer either adaptive programs where the athletes are training or competing with other athletes who have a disability, as well as universities or college that have inclusive sports programs where the athlete would be training or competing along their peers who do not have a disability. Before we begin, I just have a few housekeeping items. We do have someone working the Shannon, we have Melissa who's working our chat room. So we'd like to have you introduce yourself to panelists and attendees. In order to avoid background noise, all the attendees, not the panelists, have been muted for the duration of the session. If you have questions for the panelists, we're going to wait until the end, except for Sean. He's at a wedding, so I've got to make sure that he gets back to that wedding. But so we're going to have Sean go first and go from there. So we have today in attendance, we have Sean Burns from Alabama Adaptive Athletics. We have Doug Garner from University of Texas, Arlington. We have Maureen Gilbert from University of Illinois. Peter Hughes, University of Arizona. Derek Plinker from Southwest Minnesota State University. John Parker. And John Parker also is from Southwest Minnesota State. Mike Culp from University of Nebraska, Omaha. Dr. O from University of Michigan. And Rob Taylor from Auburn. Akil Whitehead, University, or San Diego State University. Eleanor Waddle, Beloit College. And AJ is from San Diego State University, and we have Anna, who is a student at Beloit, and she's going to talk about her new non-for-profit. So for today, what we'll do is the format is each college has 5 minutes or less, just due to timing, to talk about the program and anything else, resources of their university, and after that, we'll open it up for questions and answers. So we have 35 individuals who are on, which is awesome. So Sean, I'm going to start with you so we can get you back to your wedding. Okay.
I appreciate it. Hi, I'm Sean Burns. I'm with the University of Alabama. I'm the assistant coach on the men's wheelchair basketball staff. Alabama started our program in 2003 with just women's wheelchair basketball. And then we brought on men's basketball, and then in about 2012 we full-time brought tennis into the fold. So those are our three main kind of sports that we work with right now. Some of the major important things that we look for in high school students looking to come to college is obviously on the court talent is important, but the classroom is really important to us. For our men's team this semester, our average GPA was close to a 3.5 for the spring semester. So that's something that's really important to us because we're looking to make people productive after their college careers, whether they decide to play professionally, play on their national team. We want to make sure that everybody's getting a job and having a place to work and be successful post college. So that's really important to myself and our men's head coach Ford Bertram, our women's head coach, Ryan Hines. That's important to all of us. And that's something that we're, extremely proud of. We are on the court success. We've won 5 national championships in tennis. We've won 3 national championships in men's basketball and 6 in women's basketball. So, we obviously, love winning, but for us, the most important part is the school part. And some of the requirements to get in is depending on if you get above a 3.0 GPA for your high school career, you can get a little bit lower on the ACT and the SAT. There's kind of a sliding scale depending on, if you're a really good standardized tester, you get a high, SAT score, ACT score. There's different kind of requirements to get in. And that's kind of the same way that our scholarship system works for Alabama. We do offer athletic scholarships, but a lot of times we are looking to kind of help supplement our budget with some additional like academic scholarships. And, those, like I said, those will kick in, if you get a really high SAT and you got a pretty good GPA, you'll get some scholarship money to be a student athlete at Alabama. And that's, what's most important to us. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Just kind of let me know. And after this meeting, I'm going to ask Cindy if it's okay if, we send out some information to people, just kind of a summary of the things we went over today.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll make sure that our panelists are connecting to all of our attendees. So, and we also are recording this. So we'll have that up on our website for individuals that weren't able to be on today. So, okay. Any questions specifically for Sean? Because again, I'm trying to get him back to that wedding. So, and if not, Sean, you're welcome to stay on as long as you'd like. But otherwise, I'll connect after. So, all right, I'm just going to go who's on screen. So, why don't we do San Diego State, Akil and AJ.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Akil Whitehead. I'm a 2016 Paralympian from track and field and co-founder and now program director of San Diego State University Adaptive Athletics. This program was created to work with athletes who want to perform at a high level. The current sports that we offer right now are ambulatory track and field, as well as wheelchair tennis. But we are currently looking at supporting multiple different sports. Some of the sports include para-beach volleyball, some aquatic sports on the water, such as kayaking, rowing, and outrigger canoe. We're currently looking at para-triathlon, wheelchair track, wheelchair basketball, rock climbing. Recently, over the past year that I've been here, I've had student athletes from all those different sports kind of contact me about implementing their sport here at San Diego State. So we're looking at that. We currently have 6 coaches, currently have 9 athletes, and yeah, we're on the up and up. Fortunately, today I have my director of sports performance on here, and I wanted him just to talk to you guys a little bit more about what we're doing with our current athletes and what we could possibly be doing with you. So go ahead, Coach AJ.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Again, thank you, GLASA. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk here. This is such an awesome thing you guys have going on here, and I'm glad we can make it work in the virtual environment. A little bit about me. I am the current sports director here. I have a degree in kinesiology, bachelor's right now, currently working on a dual master's degree in kinesiology and nutrition. That'll be done within the next year. I have about 7 years dedicated right now to sports rehab and strength and conditioning, and that goes through athletic training as well as actually strength and conditioning coaching. I was recently able to work with the USA track and field, the para track and field team down in Chula Vista at the Olympic Training Center there, which was a great opportunity to kind of see what the highest level of what you student athletes will be able to get to and see how we can get you there as well. So now I'm currently working on research with wheelchair athletes at Sdsu. And so what we do here for the Adaptive Athletics program, honestly, I wake up excited every day to work with the student athletes that I see. We do really great stuff in the weight room. I get to work one-on-one with these coaches, Coach Jasmine for throwing, Coach Isaac for the track. We have Coach Greg, Coach Steve, great individuals that are all really dedicated to their athletes and making sure that they're not only doing well in school, but especially doing well on the court and really like showing our best foot. It's an awesome time. In the weight room specifically, we work really hard with a progressive training schedule that works both with a dynamic and competitive college schedule, both academics, the rigors of, we go to a lot of competitions. I think we had 5 or 6 planned for track and field, between 3 and 5 for wheelchair tennis, and we were able to go to most of those for tennis before all this stuff happened. In fact, I got to meet the great Peter Hughes over at the University of Arizona tennis tournament, and so that was a really great opportunity for me to meet a lot of the studs that are in the tennis realm. We have a great opportunity here at State to be more individualized for our athletes because we currently have about 9 athletes. It's a lot easier for us to take a look at exactly what the individual needs of our athletes are and make sure that we are supporting not only their strengths, but tackling those weaknesses that we find. There's really never an opportunity for us to say, no, we can't do that with you, sorry. It's always, okay, if we can't do it in this way, how can we do it? And that's really how we like to model what we do here at State. And of course, we're always supervised, always safe, and our dedication to our athletes really comes in 2 places. As far as sports are concerned, injury prevention is first and foremost, obviously, and performance enhancement comes after that, but is also very important. So we actually have an awesome opportunity currently. We're working with physical therapy that is going to be directly dedicated to our athletes, both for recovery, for injury prevention and injury mitigation if and when it does happen. And also on the other side, on the sports enhancement side, not only are we doing the strength and conditioning for me, but we also are working at a more global scale with nutrition as well. And we have a nutrition co-op that's working directly with our athletes. So we really have a lot of resources for our athletes, both for high performance realm and for a more of a community level for those that don't want to go all the way through and dedicate most of their time to the athletics, but still want to be there, be included, and have a good time working out. So honestly, guys, thank you so much for this opportunity. We have so much to do, and if you are interested in joining the Aztec family, please reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you both. Great. Next, Doug from University of Texas, Arlington.
Hi, Cindy, and thank you for doing this. This is an awesome opportunity for people to find out about all our programs. So happy to be here and happy to follow some of these younger, energetic coaches that are coming into the world. I like to see it, see everything growing. So I'll tell you a little bit about the University of Texas at Arlington. Our adapted program started 46 years ago by Coach Jim Hayes, and I think everybody's familiar with that.
He is frozen.
'90s and the '80s university are programs that everybody's familiar with in that area. Engineering, nursing is one of our bigger programs. Kinesiology, we have a big public health program with a master's in public health. And education is one of the bigger programs here. We're a very diverse university. We have students from about 198 countries on campus, which if you're not used to diversity, is something that is really great. And it's one of the things my wife and I enjoy about UTA. She actually started the public health program here, so we're both very involved on campus. I come at what we do here from a perspective of a longtime coach, came through the junior system of the NWBA, but also a parent. One of my sons had a disability. He was born with spina bifida and it's come up through junior sports. So I know the value of sports for kids coming up, for families, for parents, and all the way through the college level. So I'm kind of a good sounding board for parents sometimes, and my wife is too. Let's see, I made a few notes here. As far as wheelchair basketball, we do have wheelchair basketball. We have what I think is a very competitive team. We recruit from around the world. So our program reflects the diversity of our campus as well. And the really cool thing is we then have alumni around the world who are doing great things. We have a guy in South Africa who's an engineer. He got his degree here. Another one from Egypt is now on the IWBF athlete panel he's representing the African zone. So one of the things I like is seeing our players continue to grow in sport. After they leave here, I think it shows that they've gotten a great personal foundation and sport foundation as well. Yeah, we have very competitive wheelchair basketball, but we actually won the wheelchair tennis title once. Our program was started by track athletes, Coach Hayes, Randy Snow, Steve Welch, Rusty Belknap. So we've had 36 Paralympians from UTA in track and field, sit volleyball, sled hockey, and of course wheelchair basketball. So my goal is if there are young people with disabilities who want to continue to train, and especially train at a high level, we have some access to services and programs that can help you become the best that you can be, not to use a cliche. We're also in Arlington, which is halfway between Dallas and Fort Worth. We're about 4 miles from Cowboy Stadium. We're right across the street from that is Texas Rangers. Right across the street from that now there's a new professional rugby league coming in. So we've got great sports, concerts. And since I've been here in the last 13 years, our athletes have gone on to achieve not only Paralympics and national teams and All-Americans, but also, I think last time I looked, we had 14 master's degrees and 4 that are completing PhDs. So to me, they get a great foundation education. They're able to use sport as that vehicle to transition into that independent life that we want all our athletes to lead. And a lot of them are using.
Oops.
Continue, I think, a very well-rounded opportunity, and be happy to talk to anybody who wants to learn more about our program.
Great, thank you. Next on our list, Mo from University of Illinois Champaign.
Hi, everyone. I am gonna see if I can figure out how to share my screen here with y'all. Did it work?
Yep.
You see Illinois?
There you, yep, definitely.
All right. Okay, so a little bit about our program. We are at the flagship university for the in Illinois, the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. We have been offering adapted athletics for 72 years. More specifically, we now offer men's and women's basketball and men's and women's wheelchair track. So we have produced Paralympians for every Paralympic Games and 6 Olympic Games. We have, our focus is on the student athlete. Our academic services are part of the disability resources and educational services on campus. So we have ability to have academic counseling, academic and academic coaching. We have testing accommodations throughout the campus. We also offer psychological and mental health counseling. So We try to focus on the full student, not just their athletic abilities. We also put a lot of emphasis on our service part of the program. We do several fundraising opportunities throughout the year. We also do, the pictures on the screen show you our holiday party for kids with disabilities. We are in our 49th year for that party, all run by our adapted sports program. We also have started a new program which is focused specifically for students with disabilities as a whole. It's our career services. While we were part of career services on campus, we now offer specific development for career starting when you're a freshman all the way through to graduation. That includes resume and cover letter writing and internship opportunities. Can start as early as the summer following a freshman year. This year, because things are going to look a little different, we normally have wheelchair camps, wheelchair basketball camp and a wheelchair track camp. But because we are not able to do that, we are going to have a virtual camp for both. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for that one and put up our camp advertisement. You can find our camp advertisement and the topics that are going to be covered on every day on our website, as well as a form for recruiting. If you're interested in sending us some information about yourself, that is also on our website, available to you to submit information to us so that we can learn a little bit about you and you can learn more about us.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Mo. I'm just going down my list. Peter, University of Arizona.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me on board. I'm so excited about being here. University of Arizona is another one of the older programs around. I think it's been 35 plus years now. And we're just academic excellence. That's what we're all about here. We have a ton of Paralympians that have come through our program as well. We actually have funding and support for 7 sports teams. They include men's and women's wheelchair basketball, wheelchair track, wheelchair tennis, adaptive golf, hand cycling, and wheelchair rugby. I think that's 7. I always forget one. I always get yelled at about it. But again, like my peers said, academics is the most important thing here. We don't really, we want you to get a chance to try out for Team USA, but that's a side goal. And we'll try to get you there as well as we can. We'll be as competitive as possible. But we want to make sure that you are successful. And so what we do is we have a giant support structure. We have a disability cultural center where I think we're one of 2 in the United States that has that, where we actually have, you can learn from disabled authors and disabled artists and how to self-advocate for yourself. We have a job program in Tucson called Linkages, where the nonprofit works with other businesses in Tucson to get people with disabilities jobs. I think last we looked, it was like 81% of our graduates all got employed in their first year. So we're pretty excited about that. And the one thing that I really, want to say to everybody there that's looking at college is go to as many as you can. I mean, I'd love for you to come to U of A, but you have a limited opportunity of schools that provide adaptive athletics. And if adaptive athletics is one of your passions, you got to use that passion to get your education so that you can get gainful employment and change this world. We need you guys to change this world for the better. And so, and what's great about that is that every one of these guys, every one of these universities is willing. Don't be afraid to call them. They're willing to talk to you and help you get to the thing. A couple other things that we're doing here is that we are looking, we do triathlon, so we're looking at a swim coach now. We were going to announce the beginning of swimming and field events. We do have a field Paralympian that's working out here, throwing discus, but we're going to hold off a little bit because of the COVID on making that full announcement. But we do, my main goal is that if a student that gets into the University of Arizona and says, Pete, I want to play table tennis, I want to play sit-down volleyball, I want to play sled hockey, anything that I can possibly support. That might mean I have to try to figure out a way of getting you all the way up to Phoenix where there is a sled hockey team, because there's not one down here in Tucson. I promise you that I'll have that discussion with you and see what we can do. I won't promise that I can do it fully, but I will promise you that we'll have that discussion. So if it's bocce, whatever it is, so long as you can get into the University of Arizona, we're here for you. Our support structure is here for you. Just finally hired a strength and conditioning coach. Really excited about that. Remodeling our gym. Got a partnership with Nike, and just great things happening out here in the desert. Happy to talk to anybody about anything. Thank you so much, GLASA, for being on, allowing us to do this.
Great, thank you. Great presentations. Derek and John from Southwest Minnesota State University.
Thank you. Thank you. I probably won't take too much of your time. I'm known to talk fast and kind of get to the point, but I'm the head coach at Sdsu for wheelchair basketball. We currently have one adaptive sports team that's wheelchair basketball, and we've been around since 1971. So the very first collegiate game was between us and Illinois, way back yonder. So I've been around for a while. We been competitive throughout the years, different stages throughout that time, and I've been coached since 2012. And my colleague John Parker he's the admission counselor. I'm going to kind of turn it over to him here in a little bit. But one thing that kind of exciting at SMSU is that we've been asked to kind of do some research on adding adaptive sports. So we are looking to expand our opportunities in more than just wheelchair basketball. So thank you.
Okay, great.
Yes. Can you all see me?
Yes.
Okay. I hid my screen from myself, and I was well. Anyway, I work with Derek. I'm at Southwest Minnesota State University. I just acquired the position in January. I'm originally from Oklahoma, so go Boomer Sooner. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about admissions. First of all, SMSU, we were established in 1967. Our student body on campus is around 2,200 students. We're a liberal arts college, which obviously means we are very diverse in the types of majors that we offer. I think we're probably well known for education, business, the sciences, but particularly, I think Derek could agree with me on this. We have a strong education. Another thing I recently found out is at SMSU we have culinology. We have one of the only programs that you can get a 4-year degree in culinology. I just recently found that out. So again, we're in upper Midwest. It's cold in the winter. So our campus is all interconnected, which is great. You can go from one end of the campus to the next and never have to walk outside, which was a blessing for me, being not from Minnesota. I love it here. The weather is actually great right now. Probably the number one thing that attracted me to want to be a part of the Mustang family. I'm also the head tennis coach as well. I, also, of course, work in admissions. What attracted me the most was our cost of attendance. We're the 7th most affordable university in the nation, which, all you coaches know that's a big plus, because we don't have out-of-state tuition costs. Everyone pays the same amount. And as you coaches know, that's a huge recruiting tool. Our total cost of attendance, if I throw in a 3% tuition raise, it's probably going to be about $18K. a year. That's everything. That's tuition, the housing, maybe books, things like that. And we also have banded tuition. So the cost of attending 12 hours is going to cost the same as 18 hours a semester. Okay. So, we make sure here at SMSU, and I know Derek does this with his athletes. I do this with my athletes, is we very close to making sure that they're on the right degree plan and that they can get out in 4 years or less if possible. Okay. So because we have a small student body, our classroom size is probably about 14 to 1. Yeah. And another unique feature, and I'll finish up pretty soon. We have a placement program called the Mustang Promise, which basically says that we practically guarantee every kid that graduates from SMSU will have a job within 6 months. And if they don't get a job within 6 months, we'll give them 6 hours of graduate credits. Is that correct, Derek? Something like that?
Correct.
So according to the statistics in 2017, which is the recorded stats that we have, 99% of those students got a job, and 97% of those were in their field of study, and then 6% went on to graduate school. So that's a very unique feature and a good recruiting tool, and glad to be a part of the Mustang family. And it's very, very much a privilege to be amongst some very prestigious universities, and thank you for inviting me.
Okay, great. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Next, Dr. O, University of Michigan.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, GLASA, for hosting this. I will be very brief myself. I feel as though I am the newbie in the group here that's really learning from all of you. I've heard a lot of your names. Some of you have probably gotten emails and text messages from me, but I was an All-American athlete at Stanford in track and field before then going to Michigan for med school and Yale for orthopedic surgery and Notre Dame for my master's. But I then had a spinal cord injury when I was an orthopedic surgeon. And then that's where I learned about adaptive sports at the Rehab Institute of Chicago. So I'm only 7 years into adaptive athletics myself, because my spinal cord injury was in about 3 weeks here, July 4th, 2013. And then I came back to Michigan to be on faculty in the departments of family medicine and physical medicine and rehab. So our program is a little interesting because I'm a physician. And so we first founded this program last year in my clinical department. So not formally part of the University of Michigan undergraduate program, but tied more to the health system. And now actually with the work that we've been doing, we can't officially say this since it's on, this is on Facebook Live, but I can tell you that there are going to be some structural changes in terms of where our adaptive sports program is housed that will be much more conducive to fully supporting all students that come into the institution. This coming year, we'll have 5 student athletes that will be matriculating in competitive wheelchair tennis, ambulatory track and field, and then we have recreational wheelchair basketball. We are not competitive and we don't travel yet in wheelchair basketball, but we do have wheelchair basketball offered for our entire student body and the community. So like everyone said, academics are the priority for us. And so if there's a way that we can get you an education here at the University of Michigan and also accommodate whatever your athletic needs are, we want to do that. Through GLASA, really, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of wonderful student athletes that have been part of our program peripherally as well, because the clinician side of me, we have our research basis that we've got a group called M Disability. And so we have an internship that, one of the GLASA athletes, Sam Grew, who spoke, is the keynote speaker to the GLASA Games actually, is one of my interns right now that'll be helping us out with the program. And he's applying for medical school this year. And if he gets into medical school, our hope is to support him through medical school also. So we, like some of the other coaches said, if there's a sport that you're interested in doing, we will see how we can find a way to then accommodate that for you. We've got the wonderful University of Michigan backing here, such that there are a lot of resources with respect to the campus and facilities and the community and the health system and the VA. So our goal is to really try to marry all of those programs so that anybody, community member, student, anyone can have access to our program from an academic and athletic and sort of a community service basis as well. So we're very new. As I've said, we were going to be competing at the National Wheelchair Tennis Championships this past a few months, but as we all know, COVID put a damper on that. So that would have been our first sort of major competition. We did go to 2 tennis tournaments this year and came out to Utah to do an all-comers camp. And I know Coach Hughes has invited us to come out to Arizona to play there. And, you know, Doug Garner has talked to us about Texas, and a lot of you all have been very, very instrumental. Akil actually provided me with the business plan that they wrote to put together. So as people said, no matter where you are, I think this is a group of people that is looking forward to being able to support you all no matter where you go. And that's something that it's important, and we mean it. So all of us, of course, have our desire for you to go to our institutions. You know, selfishly, we want you to come to our place. But this is a group of people that I think no matter who you connect with, will try to work to connect you to the place that will be best for you. So that's really my ad here. And I've felt super supported by every other coach and director and anyone that I've come into contact with in the world of adaptive sports. And as they said, my goal is to then get you back out into the world and working and gainfully employed and still staying physically fit, because getting access to physical fitness is the most important thing out of this, and an education. So that's the goal. And if you end up being a Paralympian, I will be right there with you. If you end up being just a weekend warrior, that's also great too. So we're trying to still sort of find our identity as a program and where we will have that focus. But with the amazing academics and athletics at Michigan, my goal is to make this something where, you know, years from now, we're also boasting multiple championships in multiple sports. So feel free to give us a call. I'm very transparent and honest about where we currently are. We have 5 students that will be getting scholarships, but by no means is it full tuition scholarships. And we do have, unfortunately, a pretty high out-of-state tuition. So that has been a barrier thus far for a lot of individuals. But we're doing what we can to work around that. We've got an endowed professorship in adaptive sports now. We've got some corporate sponsors in our area that have been supporting us, and we're really just getting started. So in the coming years, hopefully we'll have much more to offer. But right now, I think we're off to a pretty good start based on all the people that are here on the call that have supported us to get to where we are right now. So if you have any questions, I put my email in there. I'll slide my cell phone number in there as well. I've got an outfit of a couple different sort of part-time volunteer staff that have been helping us really, but the program is off to a good start. So thanks for the time, and go blue.
Thanks, Dr. O. Next, Rob Taylor from Auburn.
Hi, good afternoon, War Eagle. Thank you, Cindy, Shannon, and everyone else at GLASA for hosting this great event. I know for some of us down here in the South, it's hard to get back to Chicago to attend events that can have the outreach to kids in the Midwest. Auburn University is located in the state of Alabama. We usually get confused in terms of where we're located, so just want to spell that out there right now. But Auburn started 10 years ago with a wheelchair tennis program, and from that we grew into a wheelchair basketball program. We have a co-ed wheelchair basketball team right now that competes in the men's division of the NWBA's collegiate division. We were looking to also attend tennis nationals this year in Orlando, and that did not happen, along with all the other programs that we're looking to go down there. But we're hoping to be able to go down there again next year. So we are one of the newest wheelchair basketball teams to compete within the college division. We've only played in the college division for the last 4 years. So we're definitely the newbies on the block. We don't have the history like Illinois and Alabama and Arizona and UTA do, or even Southwest. We're still trying to create our history and lay that foundation right now. We do have 10 student athletes on the team. And when we first started, a lot of the athletes that came to us came for grad school. So at Auburn, we're known for education, business, engineering, and kinesiology. So in the short amount of time that we've had a program, we have graduated 4 students with PhDs and 8 students with master's degrees. And those all came to us from other programs. Aside from myself, we've got a strength and conditioning coach, and we've got an athletic trainer that helps out with the program. We were fortunate enough that Auburn used to be a U.S. Olympic training site for the U.S. handball team. So we have access to all their facilities, use all their facilities. So we've got the equivalent of what was a U.S. training site that is no longer. That was only 2 years ago that handball has decided to go to decentralized training, but we use all those facilities and have access to all those facilities. So just like everyone said, we're excited to have this opportunity to introduce the sports to a number of different people. And as much as we'd love for you to be an Auburn Tiger, it may not be a fit, but we do encourage you to reach out if you have any questions. And if Auburn isn't the right place for you to pursue your Paralympic dreams, there's a number of other great universities on this call that will be able to help get you there. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. We have Ellie Waddle from Beloit College. So we've had a number of GLASA athletes go through Beloit on an inclusive aspect. So Ellie, if you want to talk a little bit about your program and the athletes you have there.
Sure. I'm Ellie Waddle. I'm the assistant track and cross country coach at Beloit and also the recruiting coordinator for both of those sports. I think we are the only school on this call that does not have an adapted program, but we are definitely an inclusive program. We currently have an athlete on the track and field and cross country teams, and then also on our swim team. Anna is on this call and we'll talk about her super cool nonprofit organization later. But I think we've really just sort of scratched the surface with what we can do. Any athlete who comes to Beloit kind of goes through the same process that every single other person at Beloit goes through. You just apply. If you get in, you can come. And then if you want to be an athlete, we will help you be an athlete. Basically, we're a small liberal arts school in southern Wisconsin. We have about 1,000 students right now. We're hoping to grow our population just by a little bit with the COVID problem. That's been a little tough. But we have like a 10-11 to 1 student teacher ratio. So that means that class sizes are really small and you get that sort of individualized education that's super helpful for everyone, not just people with disabilities. We have a hands-on discussion-based learning environment. So all of our classes are discussion-based, very few tests, a lot of writing skills are developed during your time at Beloit, and communication skills. And then pretty much every class involves some sort of hands-on component, whether that means like going to the history museum for your history class or doing labs and all that stuff. Basically learning by doing, which is really cool. We also have a career-focused advising and mentoring program. So this just started this past year, but basically you are able to have anyone on campus be your advisor. So that might mean somebody in your major, a professor, but that might also mean that you have an advisor who is on staff who you've really connected with and you feel comfortable with, and they can help you throughout your time at Beloit and beyond. And then also as part of that sort of mentorship program, we're bringing in alumni from Beloit who can help you through the process after college. So right when you actually get on campus, we're hoping to partner students with alumni who can help them through their time at Beloit, but then also maybe give them internship opportunities during the summers, and then also advise them on resumes, cover letters, all that kind of stuff once you're getting closer to graduating. And in terms of sports, we have 16 different sports, men's and women's. Everyone is able to participate in any of them. Any coach that you want, or any sport that you're interested in participating in, our coaches will try to make that happen. Like I said, right now we only have students participating in track and swimming, but I think pretty much any of our coaches would be happy to have anyone. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is our Student Excellence and Leadership Program, which helps first generation students, low income students, and students with disabilities develop academic, social, and personal excellence in the liberal arts. So that's just like, before you come to campus, there's a week during the summer where you come and you sort of get like an extra orientation to college. And then throughout your college career, we have a peer mentorship program, and then also people specialized who can help you through your time at Beloit, and then give you sort of an extra boost of opportunities to get into the workforce after graduation. That program is self-selecting, so it's there for you if you would like it, but you don't have to participate in it if that's not what you're interested in.
Okay, great. I think, I got all the colleges, correct? Did I
No.
miss anything? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I can never stick to a list. Okay, Mike, University of Nebraska, Omaha. Thank you.
Last, but I hope not least, we're also one of the newer universities. We're much like Auburn. We are entering our 4th year of existence. Where we came about is we had a new vice chancellor who arrived at Omaha. And a lot of times we say University of Nebraska, Omaha, but we say UNO or Omaha because we are in the heart of Omaha and we are Omaha's university. So we'll often just go by Omaha. He asked why we sending all these athletes out to all these other schools, because I started the Nebraska Red Dogs years ago. And he said, we want a team in Omaha. And I said, you give me the money, I'll find you a coach and a team. He goes, welcome, coach. So I became the coach without really applying for it. So we do offer wheelchair basketball. We are hoped to move into some other sports, but the COVID-19 has kind of put a halt to that. We're looking to do swimming and hockey, then looking for a couple others, sit volleyball, but they're all on hold for right now. I'm going to try to share a little presentation. So bear with me. I practiced this, so hopefully we can get it done. So let me try. And it's going to be, let's see, a slideshow we have. Let's see. Let's get on there. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, there we are. We do have the university wheelchair basketball. We do have a couple of sponsors. We don't offer a lot of scholarship, but we're getting more all the time. But if you have the academic grades, much like a lot of them, if you can do a 30 on your ACT and do a 3.5 on your GPA, you can get full scholarship. And we're pretty liberal. Even we had a 3.0, and you can get like 12,000. So we have a lot for you. We have what we call the Nebraska Advantage. And even at a 24 and a 2.5 GPA, you can get money. So we're pretty liberal. And the university is also guaranteed to hold the tuition steady for the next 2 to 3 years with no increase. So we're really kind of proud of that. And we do have a lot of money for underrepresented groups, and financial aid is very liberal here. So we're proud of doing that. Now, part of our, I'll have a little bit of our stats. We like to think we're in the middle of everybody. We're a university of about 15,000. So we're not big as Auburn, Alabama, UTA, Michigan, but we're bigger than some of the smaller schools. So we like to think we're in a little bit. We're proud of our academic. We like to think we believe we're the hidden gem of the Midwest, not only Omaha, but the university. Our bachelor programs are highly rated by the U.S. News and Report. And we're really stressed our business, our education, kinesiology, and no offense to anybody, but we do have the top and the best biomechanics lab in the world. It's the only standalone center in the United States. And they also allow undergrads to do research with them. And we do a ton of it through NASA, through the Army, through adaptive sports. We do a lot of things there. And so it's one of those. And we're also always rated one of the top military schools friendly in the United States. Again, our enrollment is around 15,000, 10,000, or almost 11,000 undergrad. We have first-year students and first generations, you notice is a large percentage of that. And we really work hard on that in our counseling, and our support system is geared to that. We do have a lot of transfer students. A lot of students go somewhere else, then they come to Omaha because we are a compact university, but we're very friendly. We're the Nebraska friendly, so we get a lot of that with it. So, and we get in there. Then our faculty staff, we're about 17-to-1 for undergrad, 13-to-1 for graduate. And so we have a lot of different reward in there. So let me see if I can get to the next slide here. Tuition is very affordable. Our in-state is around 12,000. Our out-state is a little bit higher, but with that Some of the things you can get in there, you can reduce it down a lot. Let's see if I can get to the next one here. Let's see. I don't want to get into that. I'm trying to find my slide here. Here, share my screen. Let's see if I can get to the next one here. It will click. We'll get into it. One of the things that is still launching it, so unless I lost it, let's see. I might have lost it a little bit, but we like to say to come to Omaha, you strive for excellence, and that's what we really want to do. We want to strive for excellence in Omaha, and it's one of those things that come here. We're going to work with you. We're going to be part of your from the start to beginning. We want to say we'll be there for whatever you need. We're going to be here for you. I guess lots of my slides have lost it, but I also want to say we probably have the best housing of anybody, and I'm not trying to rip on anybody there. All our housing is 20 years or less. You have all of ours are independent. You'll live with 2 to 3 or 4 people. You have your own bedroom, and then you will share a bath with one other person. We also have studio apartments, and all of our apartments also have what I would say, a living room and also kitchen facilities. So if you want to save money, we have it all there, but we also have food service with you too. So, so if you like anything, please contact me. It's easy to get in and out of Omaha, and we have a lot going on here. So thank you. Thank you, Cindy.
Great, thank you. Sorry, I almost forgot you there. So before we go into open it up for questions, and I've gotten a couple already, I'd like to introduce Anna Kohut, and Anna is a GLASA sled hockey as well as a swimmer, and she swims at Beloit College. And so she recently started a non-for-profit, a place for us. Anna, if you want to share what you're doing, that would be great.
Yeah. Thank you, Sydney. So yeah, Cindy said I'm a student at Beloit College. I'll be a senior, and I'm studying education and disability studies. So I recently have been working on this organization. I'm going to share my screen for this. I have a little poster that I've made. And so essentially this organization, our mission is to create a space for students with disabilities to connect, network, and empower one another through peer mentoring that spans from high school through college. And the idea came from a bunch of friends of mine who also have disabilities wanted a way, and they live all over the country. We wanted a way to stay connected and also find like-minded people like us that want to work towards disability advocacy and also help other students with disabilities succeed in college, because only 11% of people with disabilities are currently enrolled in higher education. So the idea is that currently we only have social media pages up. We're hoping to get our website up this by July. But right now what we're doing is we're having students, college students, submit what we're calling mentor profiles. And it's just asking them about themselves and their experiences in college. And then we're posting them. And then we're going to have high school students with disabilities who are interested in going to higher education and want to talk to a student who with a disability who's already in college to understand what the college experience is like, specifically how it is to navigate a disability, because it can be different. Then they can connect with them through Calendly, which is a scheduling app that they can just pick a time that mentors have put aside for them to meet with them. So that's the idea behind it. I'm actually wanted to speak to both attendees and panelists for this. Panelists, if you guys have college students who you think would be interested in being mentors or just wanting to connect with other college students with disabilities nationally, I would love for you to tell them about this. Also, panelists, if you are looking to talk to college students with disabilities who maybe have similar experience than you, or just want to know what it's like to navigate a disability in college, you can email me. I'll put my email in the chat box. And then you can also follow us on our social media pages, and then you'll be getting updates. As of right now, we don't, like I said, we're still in the process of making, but hopefully we can get it up by this fall. And especially at a time right now where we are quarantined and colleges are not really open as much, I think it is really important to talk to someone, because I know I had to go visit every single college I went to because I'm a wheelchair user, and I needed to make sure that it was accessible. And I feel as though only someone that has a wheelchair will truly understand what accessible means in that context. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Anna. Appreciate it. I'm going to got a question on my phone, and I've got a question in the, first question is, question to the panel. This will be interesting. Do adaptive athletes have to follow the same NCAA rules of engagement as able-bodied athletes? So I will, whoever wants to, I'll leave that open. So
I'll answer that from an Illinois perspective. So when we are following, at Illinois, we follow the NCAA rules. So our eligibility is based on the same eligibility as our able-bodied athletics program. Our student athletes also receive a varsity award because of that standard that we have set. So they're awarded like the varsity I, the same as the able-bodied student athletes. The college division for wheelchair basketball kind of has a hybrid standard of NCAA eligibility. We are working to, the college division is working to refine that eligibility requirement, but it's still basically the same. They have to pass 24 hours every year, maintain the GPA as well, 2.0 GPA. So, and that's across the board for our athletes here, track athletes as well as basketball athletes.
Great. I'm going to ask this question to the panel. I know answers from some, but if a student lives in the same community as your university, but is not an enrolled four-year student, they may be attending a community college, or they may be working. Does your program allow them to train and compete with your collegiate program?
Okay, I'm going to take that one too. I don't, like for basketball, the community college student athlete is not able to compete on the collegiate team. For track here at Illinois, if they are a student, then they can compete because we are also the U.S. Paralympic Training Center for wheelchair track. So they're able to work out here with us and the rest of the track athletes as well. But basketball across the board in the collegiate division, they cannot compete on a collegiate team unless they are a student at that college.
Okay.
An eligible student at that college.
Okay. Anybody else?
And can I chime in there too? So some of your students that are say they can't get into a four-year university, one thing they might want to do is find the local team to play in and get residency, and they wouldn't be playing on the college basketball team, but for instance, if they wanted to play with the Dallas Mavs or something along those lines, to prep while they're trying to get into UTA or Tucson Lobos for the University of Arizona, they could do that, but they wouldn't be a student at all. And as Mo said, for our programs, the only one that is a collegiate program that you have to be a full-time university student is any basketball program that's in a collegiate division. All of our other programs at the University of Arizona, we only recruit students. So you could go to the community college if you wanted to do track. We want you to get into the University of Arizona eventually. If you're a hand cyclist, you could, or trade school or something like that. I'm not interested, if you just want to come and live off of our budget and train with our guys and all that, you know. So you have to be a student of some sort. But I'm not gonna, you know, if you want to go to welding school and there's a welding school down the street, or aircraft mechanic school, a trade, and you want to do hand cycling, you know, let's talk, you know. But if you want to play basketball, you got to get into the university.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and on that same note, yeah, our San Diego State, we kind of we're working on this model right now that is kind of following the same thing. It's kind of like Arizona, where, like, you know, if you're a student at the university and you're a high performance student, part of our track and field or wheelchair tennis team, you know, we're going to support you in this kind of way. But if you're because of just the area that we're at, we just realized there's just some sports are just lacking in, like, the sort of community support. Like, there's not like a track and field team for, like, the San Diego area that athletes could just sort of go to and train with adaptive coaches. We realize we have all the adaptive coaches. So, you know, we have to, we're currently working on a model to say, okay, well, you know, if you're maybe a community member and you want to train with our coaches, maybe we could support you in this kind of way. If you're then maybe a athlete at a junior college that maybe couldn't get into San Diego State at first, but then is kind of working on transferring over here, we could support you in this kind of way, and then kind of move up the tier list. So yeah, our program is flexible in that kind of way as well.
Okay, great. Dr. O?
Yeah, so this is another model that we're also working on, that I'm happy to say this to the panelists and to the attendees, because I think we all have acknowledged that there aren't programs in every single city, every single state. And so with the goal of saying that physical fitness is important for everyone, and this isn't set in stone, this is just an early conversation that we're trying to figure out how we can make this work. My desire is to support any student athlete that then has an interest in having physical fitness. So I'm not going to go pluck someone. If you live right next door to Auburn and you want to play, I'm not going to pluck you from Auburn. But if you live in an area that has no adaptive sports, but you, because of your disability, you've got all your resources right there next to you, I'm not going to say you have to then move all the way to Michigan to then be a student here for us to support you. And I think this pandemic has shown that a lot of us are doing things virtually anyway. And so if we can provide some sort of virtual training for you, then, for example, we might meet you at the GLASA games, and that'll be where you're wearing the maize and blue, because then you're a Michigan athlete, even though you're not a University of Michigan student. Now, the goal will be then, if we do that, we can then introduce you to, you might find another student athlete that lives, 30 minutes away that you didn't know about. So if you then get a critical mass and you can create a program wherever you are, the goal is to then create programs in other places. The goal is not to then steal people that then would have otherwise gone to a school closer. Is if for whatever reason you don't have resources where you are to then practice, to then train, to then have a team, we're going to create somewhat of this sort of national team that you can be a University of Michigan athlete. We will support you to a certain degree, and then we'll help you with your training, and then bring you all together at a competition, and then you can have your teammates, you can have your virtual communication. So once again, I think the goal here is to get people involved and to have individuals have access to physical fitness. And then if you want to compete at a high level, we'll have to figure out how we can get you onto a team.
Okay, great.
Cindy, can I jump in real quick on the very first question on the NCAA?
Yep, absolutely.
I get that question a lot, because a lot of parents are confused about, and high school counselors are confused about the clearinghouse. And so the answer to that is, for adapted sports, you do not have to go through the clearinghouse. And I know some of them have paid money to enter different, we can get your kid a scholarship, or we can get you through the clearinghouse advice and things. So for wheelchair basketball, I know, unless you're going.
Oops, Doug, you're cutting out.
Going direct house. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you cut out a bit, Doug.
Oh, sorry. The other thing is, Dallas is a real adapted sports hotbed, and Texas is growing that direction. So we do a kind of a hybrid model for our other sports. Our athletes work out with SWA. We get some support from South Texas Regional Paralympic Sports. We have a rugby team that uses our facility, and 2 community wheelchair basketball teams that use our facility for their training. So and then Dallas wheelchair sled hockey. We've had some of our athletes who compete with them. So there are community hybrid school models where we can get our athletes set up with some of their training.
Okay, great.
Omaha
go
does.
ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Omaha does the same thing because we're a small state. Yeah, large in area but small in population. We do allow individuals who want to play other sports to come to the university and practice. We also let them practice with our basketball team. Even though they're not part of the team, we do allow them to practice with us to give us numbers and to help out. So we do it. Then some of them will travel 50, 60 miles to a men's team, but they do practice with Omaha. So.
Okay, great. Anybody else on that? I'll go, if not, I'll go on to the next. Ellie, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that Beloit is a Division III. We work within the NCAA system. Since we don't have the other program, all of our athletes go by all of the NCAA rules, no matter what.
Okay, great. Anybody else on that? Otherwise, I'll go on to, okay, basically, what schools offer seated throwing? And I will say, I know some of you have said, you know, if athlete comes to us, you know, we'll work with seated throws. So again, if you, those of you that, if you want to answer that and how that might work.
We have a couple seated throwers who are training and competing here in Arlington.
Okay, great. Anybody else?
If you have your own chair, we'd be happy to explore it. That's all.
Okay, sounds good.
Although we don't offer it, I do have one of my athletes that does throw, and he throws at the veteran games, and we have facilities for him to throw. So.
Okay, and I guess I'm gonna just put my own input because I worked with a lot of our own GLASA athletes that have gone on, and a number of them are attending your colleges. That just because, you know, you go on a website and it doesn't say seated throwing, or it doesn't say whatever the sport may be, is I would encourage you to reach out to whether it's an athletic director, whether it's a coach, because, you know, many of the colleges, they want you as a student and they're excited to have you as an athlete, even if it might not be a sport that has been offered in the past. So
yeah, just adding to that too, like sometimes you might be the person starting the program at the, you know, I know Mac went to Alabama and that's what really kicked off their awesome wheelchair tennis program. And, you know, the same thing with, we had Mary Kay for triathletes. We didn't have triathlon athletes prior to her being there. And she said, I want to go, I want to learn about racing, but I want to do triathlons. So just call them up, call us up.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm going to go into questions here. How do coaches sign up for the U of I wheelchair basketball camp? Is there a cost? Mo, are you doing anything separate for coaches?
The coaching part of it is the second session of each day. And they just, we don't have registration up just yet. We're still waiting on our Zoom license that we had to purchase. So as soon as that goes up, you'll know. It'll be on our Facebook page and our website. But the coaching part of it is the second session of each day.
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, sorry. And no fee for any of it.
Okay, great. Awesome. I do not see any other questions. Anybody, as far as panelists, anything you want to add? Well, thank you, all of you. In this college virtual fair was going to be live. Now it's virtual, came about on a personal level because we continue to get so many questions from athletes, you know, what college has this sport, which college has this, which has scholarships. And I'm happy to say on behalf of GLASA, 100% of our kids for the last 4 to 5 years have gone on to college, whether 2-year, 4 years. So thank you. And hopefully this is something that we continue on an annual basis. And we will make sure that all of you as panelists in college and programs are connected to the to those that have been on this panel. And you know, we all know how important education and how important sports are to the success of our athletes. So thank you for all of you to what you're doing in the programs that you're conducting. And I know there's other colleges that are not here today, but I think the more we can expand the movement, the better it's going to be. So thank you for all of you. Oh, one other question came through. Hold on, guys, before I get you off. In universities with adaptive para swimming programs, what are typical competition opportunities, dual meets invitation, or does the para swimmer need to seek outside para swimming meets? I don't know if anybody want to take that? I guess I'll answer it from an experience from some of our swimmers, and then I see Anna's on there too. And that I was going to say, we've had swimmers that have swam the meets, the university meets, as well as done some of the para. So Anna, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, I've done, so for me personally, I go to Beloit, which is a D3 school, so I compete normally like anyone else. It's even actually a little bit different than high school. From Illinois, we had, by the time it was my senior year, we had a separate disability division at state, but now in college, in our conference specifically for Beloit College, we just all compete at once. And honestly, I like it better because it's not like I'm getting any special treatment. I'm just swimming like everyone else, and still very, very much part of the team. And there are some opportunities I know to do Paralympic outside of college, but I have not personally participated in any of those since going to college, but yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I think I'm going to end it. Thank you all. Thank you for all participants, and we'll make sure that everybody is connected. So, so appreciate the opportunity.
Cindy, we appreciate what you do with your athletes and, you know, supporting them all the way through from, you know, the youngest to your graduating seniors, and really putting the emphasis on continuing their education and getting into a university and being successful, you know, citizens of wherever they're going to be. That's super important. You know, can't thank you enough for such a great community program that you have.
Thanks, Mo. And I know there's a number of other programs throughout the country that do the same thing, but yeah, once we get those kids in high school, it's like, what's your grade average? Where are you going? And it is so important in, you know, so it's not only our program, there's a number of adaptive sport programs across the country that also are really emphasizing that education and getting their students to the many programs that all of you offer. So thanks for the kind words.
Agreed.
Appreciate it.
Yep. I agree, Cindy. Yep. It's
All
been
right.
great.
Thanks, guys.